A world without bees. Yes, without the bees we're buggered as well. So, in my own small way, I have undertaken the cause of the bees, and I am a beekeeper. I am proud to be a beekeeper. And Martin's a beekeeper as well. This was the book that really kind of piqued my interest and got me over that waterfalls, pushed me off the edge, and yeah, now I've got my bees, and I love them. Yeah. The Christmas Day eggs. This is a box of eggs that came from my sister's farm. My sister's very good at going over the edge as well. In October, she took on a free-range chicken farm, 6,000 chickens. Never even seen a bloody chicken before she took them on. Anyway, Christmas Day, we spent with her on the farm, and we asked her if we could pick eggs that were laid on Christmas Day to give to friends and family. And we packed them up, and I put some glittery bits on the boxes, and I handed them out with a little note. And people absolutely loved them. It was a simple thing. It cost us very little, apart from a bit of TLC and a bit of effort. But yeah, you know, you can make the plain and ordinary magical and extraordinary. I think a couple of other people have alluded to that. Martin had stones in his presentation, and I think Mark had something relating to making magical things out of the nothingness of life. The loveliness, Edward Monckton. Nobody knew what it was or where it came from, but such was its power that it leaked and seeped from person to person until the whole world was infected by its beauty. The loveliness, put it into everything you do. Touch it around, spread it, don't be embarrassed to share it. And if people don't like the loveliness, then that's hard luck, isn't it? Without the loveliness, we're buggered as well. Never forget who you really are. And sometimes, you know, we get kind of so caught up in what we do, the expectations other people have of us, that it's sometimes quite important. And I think, again, it's been alluded to by other people. Remember the child, not the pole dancer, the child. This is a quote from a book by Ori, a mountain dreamer, called The Invitation. And she wrote this poem, and this particular stanza is quite important to me. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. And yes, I can, and yes, I do. That's okay. The cobweb of diamonds. I took this photograph in our garden one morning. I'm absolutely rubbish at the social networking, the Twitter and the Facebooking and all that sort of stuff. I hate it. I like the face-to-face friends. I like the networking with proper people, not things at a distance. And I like to think of the people who are in my network as being like, they are like diamonds. I don't choose to entertain anything less, actually. And the beautiful, creative, interesting people, you lot, seek them out and enjoy their company, as without judgment, envy, or fear. And that sounds like a bit of an odd thing to say, perhaps, but sometimes it can be quite intimidating when you enter this world, this rarefied world of the twinkly, arty, creative people. Can feel a little bit strange, and you wonder what the hell you're doing there. And I love this photograph. I found it in a magazine. It was actually about it's a family in Ibiza who set up one of the clubs. And I just thought it was an amazing photograph of really bonkers people, but I really wanted to be there. So, there you go. This little book, I spotted it in our local charity shop just before Christmas, and the shop was closed. And I mentioned it to Martin as I was walking past with the dog, and he went, "Oh, yeah, right, whatever." And I didn't think of it again. And I went back the next day to see if I could get it, and it had gone. I thought, okay. And Martin phoned me up and he said, did you get that book out of the charity shop? I said, no, it had gone when I got back. Anyway, Father Christmas had got it for me. It was in my Christmas box. And I love this word, eunoia, practicing the art of beautiful thinking. And each chapter in this is written with just one letter used from the vowels. And it's the shortest word in the English language with all the vowels present. Eunoia. There's a word for you to toy with. Oh, the new shoes. Now, Christmas, we were with family up in Tarpley, and I spotted this pair of fabulous shoes in the window of a shop. And I oohed and ahed over them, but it was all locked up and there was nobody around, so that was that. And when I got home, these shoes were haunting me. Martin had also, I think a few people might have had the text from him for New Year to walk the path in new shoes for 2010. And I thought I'll take that a bit literally. So I phoned the shop and I got these shoes put in the post. Little beknowns to me also. Again, he'd been paying more attention than I gave him credit for. And he'd actually organised for them to be coming to me from a birthday present, actually. And so the shoes arrived, and now these shoes have got more significance than they ever thought possible. And they were designed by people I know. I used to work with the people who have this brand. So, yeah, walk a new path in new shoes. And it felt very significant because the birthday that they were celebrating was my 50th birthday. So I'm not just in a new year, a new decade, but I'm in a very new life stage as well. So they're the shoes to do it in, I think. Yeah. The caddis worm. I came across this photograph and this article about these caddis worms years ago. It must be good 10 years ago. An artist called Hubert Duprat was in South America, and he discovered in a riverbed, I don't know what he was doing fossicking around in a riverbed, but he found these little caddis worms, and they were naturally choosing from the detritus of the riverbed, these little bits of gold and lapis lazuli and other semi-precious stones to make their little shrouds out of, little coverings. And when these little bugs hatch into into flying insects, they leave these little things behind. And he spotted this, and he thought, wow, this is amazing. So he captured a whole load of these little things. He took them back to his studio, and he gave them a special tank with all these little bits and bobs in to see what they'd make. And they made all these beautiful pieces of jewellery for him. And of course, then, their time comes to hatch, and then he says, bye, thank you very much. And then he puts them on a chain and he sells them. And I love this because it makes you ask, who is the artist? Who is the artist? Was it Hubert for spotting what these little creatures were doing? Or is it the little creatures for naturally doing this anyway? It's like the question about the tree in the forest. If it falls over and nobody hears it, did it actually make a sound? I don't know. So you can make things from the detritus of life. And I think somebody else said that as well. Somebody sent me this card. And it was just really good fun. And it was thanking me for something that I'd done. And I'm really rubbish at accepting thanks from people. I go, no, it's no problem at all. Oh, no, it's fine. And I'm absolutely rubbish at accepting thanks. And I've got to get better at it. Oh, the miracle. This is a depiction of the parting of the seas by Bestie. And it says, what do you mean it's a bit muddy? God, if I had a quid every time somebody says to me, oh, well, I asked for it, but you didn't, that's what I thought. And you're like, oh, for God's sake, where's the gratitude? Miracles happen every day. They might not be dead dramatic, but they happen. Be thankful for them and use them when you recognise them. Ben Ockery. This is the last chapter of Starbook, not Starbooks, Starbook. I'm from Liverpool, so I've got a bit of a funny accent. Starbook, chapter 22. What more is there to tell? Just fragments seen in the book of life.